know these times won't last, even though they've been tough. Just let them know my people been had enough. Tell them we gon' rise up. We gon' rise. Tell them we gon' rise up. We gon' rise up. I know these times won't last, even though they've been tough. Just let them know my people been had enough. Tell them we gon' rise up. We gon' rise up. Tell them we gon' rise up. We gon' rise up. Please, Lord, forgive them. They try to hold back and chillin' like they ain't know it was written. Break every chain. I wanna free my people from mental prisons. My eyes on the sparrow, I know we'll narrow divisions. Hope is the vote to keep us afloat just as you envision. Faith to erase the pain from all of our people slain. Destined for change, actions to back up your spoken name. When they throw dirt on ours, we use it to plant game. When it rains, we go greater together, no matter the weather. Trust these dark days, we're gonna get better. Know that love will be the light to guide all our endeavors. And even if the tide should rise, we'll ride it forever. Why? We are mighty, we'll fight for our lives, cause we're dying to live. Future is ours, the timing is now. Black and we proud, we're saying it loud. We gave it a roar, there's so much more to give. We're breaking down all the walls. I know these times won't last, even though they've been tough. Just let them know my people been had enough. Tell them we gon' rise up. We gon' rise. Tell them we gon' rise up. We gon' rise up. I know these times won't last, even though they've been tough. Just let them know my people been had enough. Tell them we gon' rise up. We gon' rise. Tell them we gon' rise up. We gon' rise up. Never backing down for the cause. Try to put our life on pause, cause we move in the image of God. No matter the hate that's spoken, our spirits remain unbroken. The divine man says you can't count us out. We are the answer. From the youth to the elders, ain't what you can tell us. Style and brilliance of mind, heart is bright as sunshine. Warrior spirits alive, so no, we won't be denied. So vibration is high, and the frequency so angelic, like. People, come on. I know these times won't last, even though they've been tough. Just let them know my people been had enough. Tell them we gon' rise up. We gon' rise. Tell them we gon' rise up. We gon' rise up. I know these times won't last, even though they've been tough. Just let them know my people been had enough. Tell them we gon' rise up. We gon' rise. Tell them we gon' rise up. We gon' rise up.
Oh, rise up. Come on, family.
You already know.
Let's do it.
It is Monday night, December, what is it, 28th?
28th.
Another edition of Soundbytes. We are nearing the end, y'all. Black consciousness is the claim.
Our world is the aim.
Absolutely. Bringing you the conversations pertinent to our diasporic landscape to ensure empowerment, healing, uplift, and celebration across our diasporic landscape.
Give thanks.
I am a Sirka Neferah, and this is
Neferah to my Atira.
You know the deal. So,
Keep it tight.
Yes, indeed. So, yes, it is. This is the last Soundbytes broadcast of 2020, y'all. You made it out alive. If you're watching this, you made it out alive.
Never would have made it. Never.
Shouts to yourself if you're still here, if you're still vibing, if you're still rocking with us. Definitely, we appreciate you. Those that come on our broadcast each week, those that listen in, tune in, catch the playback, share your comments, share your thoughts, and just engage with the Soundbytes brand. Each episode and each year, we appreciate you. It's been a crazy year, so but it didn't. We don't want to let that stop us from sharing the message and spreading the message to our people and being the difference is different, right?
Absolutely.
To support our people and uplift and healing, peeling back the layers to get to where we need to be to get closer and closer to our liberation and freedom in this unfree landscape, right? So of course, tune in. Share the broadcast as always. If you find value in our what we bring here. We do appreciate every share, every like, every comment. So please look to share the broadcast with your peoples then to start kick things off. I'm sure a few comes still be coming in for a bit. So of course, we'd like to start off by just reminding you guys to follow us, like us on Facebook. If you're watching us now, we're all live on Facebook, our YouTube, and on our Twitter page via Periscope. So let's make sure if you're not already following us, we just happen to be just on the page and saw it and pop up. Please make sure that you're following and liking us as well on Facebook at Soundbytes INTL Radio. So make sure you are doing that. Also, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. Subscribers and views and likes and all that type of stuff is what helps beat the algorithm. So help us, support us in the endeavor to break through that and let the message reach more and more people. So please subscribe to our YouTube channel at Soundbytes International Radio. Subscribe on YouTube today and tell your friends to subscribe as well. Tell your family, tell your people to subscribe to this as well. Also, again, we are live on Twitter also via Periscope on Twitter at Soundbytes INTL. So make sure you hit that follow on the Twitterverse page, right? And remember to follow our podcast, which is Soundbytes International Radio. Our audio podcast of these broadcasts is available on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, so you can listen back to previous shows and get the information and get the education and get the stories and get the good news with you wherever you go. And please make sure you hit those ratings, get that 5-star. Leave your written reviews. We greatly appreciate that.
Yes. Build it out, family.
You can also visit those links on our website. You see scrolling at the bottom. This is soundbytes.com. So you can stay connected on our website as well. We also have Soundbytes merch, which is a way not only get yourself outfitted in some nice gear for the holiday.
Fortified, family, fortified.
Get your fortified hoodie on. You'll get some Soundbytes merch, rep your Soundbite set. And also as a way to give back to the growth of Soundbytes. Also another way to give back is our contribute option on our website. You can hit that button if you just want to give and spread the love. We do appreciate all energy yields.
That.
So you can do that on the website as well. So there's a button for that. You can also contribute directly to our Cash App, which is Soundbytes Radio, $Soundbytes Radio. If you find value in what we bring, right, we believe in reciprocity. And it can look a lot of ways, right? Like I said, we can have the Cash App, but also it could be, again, you sharing your thoughts, sharing the broadcast, letting people know who, what Soundbytes is about, right? That's just as much, powerful,
great value. Give thanks.
Value to what we do here at Soundbytes. As any monetary gift, right? So we do appreciate that. If you do all, that's also greatly appreciated as well.
But why do we do that? Why are we sharing?
Right.
Because of the messaging.
Absolutely, the messaging.
Soundbytes is not. It's only for the messaging. It's not for the show. It's not for the popularity. This happens to be our medium.
This is how we get stuff out, right?
This is the medium.
We do other things, right? We do other things. We could just focus our energy in doing that. We do this because we understand that there are deficits in our community.
Yes.
We understand that there are walks and things that we've grown to learn and grown to assess. And we just use this as a platform to share with our people what we know. With our people. Right? We're not sharing it to be in a space of this is a no more type of thing or anything. We also would love to share with the people and get your feedback as well, get your knowledge as well, so we can share it out with other people.
Give thanks.
Right? This is not a talk at session. This is a talk with session. This is a chat. We chat with our family when we get live on Sound.
We go to meeting, family. We go to meeting up here. Come on, let's go to meeting.
So we chat.
We chat up here.
So we appreciate all the energy of our people that come through for sure. Also follow us on Instagram. Soundbytes International Radio. Follow us on Instagram. Hit that button, right?
Hit it.
And you can see these conversations regularly. We share more news on our Instagram, more regular clips and pieces and quips around these conversations to stay with us. So please do so on that. And those are those particular
housekeeping.
Things. That was a terrible.
We got that out.
There we go. That was better.
Boom. Hit
it. Stay fortified, family. That's what we're here for. And of course, it is still Kwanzaa. It's the beautiful celebration of setting ourselves and setting intention for creating a greater African nation for across the diaspora, particularly Africans within this U.S. space. Which is what the iteration of why Kwanzaa came to be in the first place. To help us get connected with that, get grounded in that. And the Nguzo Saba, right, which is 7 principles of Kwanzaa. Right, we are in day 3, principle number 3, which is Ujima, which stands for
collective work and responsibility.
Absolutely. And what does that mean, right? That means
making our brothers and sisters' problems our problems and coming together to solve them. That's what we do here at the Soundbytes.
Absolutely.
We Ujima all up and through here in application of the principle.
Absolutely. And this is how you build and maintain community all day, every day. Build connection. You know, I made a post earlier around this, because I like to share, and we share various medias of how this education looks, right, on the social space. And I like to share like a little, every Kwanzaa I like to share like a little kind of like each day as a graphic recap of what these principles mean. Today, just wanted to particularly touch on like the importance of what we look at. We talk about a lot radical individualism that has us out here, accepting the residuals of the matrix that has us being disconnected from our people. And with that disconnection comes this feeling to not want to be involved with the trials of our people or involved with the pains or compassionate to the struggles that our people are dealing with, when we're very much dealing with it just as ourselves, right? Ubuntu, I am because we are, we deal. Here we go. If our family isn't winning, then we're not winning.
We're not winning, no family.
No matter how much money you garner, no matter how many cards you get, no matter how many degrees,
how many gold stickers they hang on your door,
no matter how many
stars.
Okay, no matter how many platinum plaques and all that type of stuff. This is from the average Joe up to celebrity. No matter how much we garnish, if our people aren't winning in some degree in totality, then we're not winning. We haven't won, and we still got work to do. So that is where our brothers and sisters keeper, being our brothers and sisters keepers, is key. And that's what Ujima is about. This is what we try to instill. Or we do put our best effort forward and instill with the Soundbytes brand, is being our brothers and sisters keeper by being in a space of compassionate, empathic understanding of what the plights are of our people. That our people are not alone, and that within their pains is our pain. And if we're in pain and we're in discomfort, that means something needs to change. That's generally when change comes, is when you're discomforted. You don't like something, you want to change it quick so you can be comforted again. And we are living in a perpetual state of discomfort, African. To put it lightly, because discomfort is a very light word compared to what we actually dealt with historically. But we're in a perpetual state of it. So what are we going to do to change, right? And a part of that change is us connecting with our people, because the collective is what brings the power, right? You want to go fast, go alone. You want to go far, go together. And we need to go far. We have a lot of ground to cover in this walk and going into future generations. And if our future generation, meaning the youth of today, aren't imbued with these same energies, then they're just going to perpetuate more of the same of what's coming out of the matrix, which is more disconnection and more disillusionment and more these fake ideals that you're free, or that slavery was the best thing that happened to you, right? Because this is what comes up now, in these people's minds. We got to shift that. So if you did.
So that segues us into the business. What is the market calling for, family? We in business. Business is going on. We're out here. We're trying to make a coin. Everybody's, we talked about this a little bit before, but if you're selling anything, folks, everybody has got a business. Everybody's been home getting into hobbies and things like that. But on the greater landscape, we're doing business. I'm an MBA, master in business, dual major with media management. So there's an exercise that tells you how to price your product, how to develop a product. Where do you see economic progress happening to jump on that trend? So what is the market asking us in sense of Ujima, right? Collective work and responsibility. The matrix is asking for more ratchet, more trash,
more bad and bougie,
more bad, bougie, savage, and all this is what the market is asking for from you, African. The market doesn't want nothing else from you particularly, but more low vibration and low frequency stuff. And guess what we're doing? Because we are not Ujima in application. We have not yet taken full responsibility for our brothers and sisters and made their problems our problems. Because we continue to produce this type of foolishness because the market is asking for it. And we believe that we're going to make our coin by doing it this way and by putting these things into the market, because this is what's allowing some of us to get our come up. And now it's even worse, because you don't even have to go to school, learn any particular skill, to just get out there and just clown in front of your mirror and fall and paint your face and do all these things. There's no particular journey to create this space, and everybody is, you know how we do. We opting out of this. We don't want to work hard. See, we're not clear that we still need our healing. So we still need our healing. So in our process of living and experiencing, we do things and we make decisions that are of detriment to us out of responses to our oppressive condition. And our lack of self-respect makes us do some of these things, because in the Matrix, the validator, because you look to someone for validation, and the Matrix has a dominant narrative that is guiding the space.
It creates dependency on itself in order to thrive.
Right, in order to thrive. And since you have accepted a subordinate posture, even unbeknownst to yourself, you know, Baba Malima Baruti says that we have varying degrees of menticide. And because we're not aware of the fact that we're suffering menticide, we're not applying collective work and responsibility in our daily actions. And we do things like continue to produce trash because the market is paying for it. So in business, it says produce what the market is asking for. So this is how it is taught in the Matrix. When you sit in a classroom, and it tells you, if you want to make money, you got to produce what the market is asking for. See, the market is not asking for African-centered consciousness. That's going to be a road and a journey to sovereignty for the African. The market is not asking for that. Our people do not want that by great numbers, and we detest the very fabric of it. That is varying degrees of menticide.
Right.
Because we've been hollowed out, and we haven't really come in contact with what's actually good for African sovereignty. So when we do go ahead.
No, I mean interject, but it's because we feel like we need to, that we're so far gone. A lot of us accepted this learned helplessness where we're so far gone that like we just got to make do. If you can't beat them, join them. Right. So if we're working on something that's quote unquote working to get us by, we're in survival mode. We're actually moving constantly in survival mode. It has us want to get by and just deal with whatever the Matrix got to get the scraps and the crumbs so that we could just live in whatever. So if you come along trying to fuck up that system, then you now become the enemy to the Matrix. And they just as much as they as become the stewards of the Matrix and stewards of what the Matrix continues to dish out for us, which is like again the dependency on what the Matrix has to offer. Yes. And no matter what the offer is, because they can offer you dog scraps. Yeah. Or depending on where you stand in the Matrix, if the Matrix.
Excuse me, Grandma says sugar covered shit.
Exactly. Right? You know, so like but we deal with that because well, we got it, then at least we're not dying, right? And then look, now we're dying regularly, right? So like, what's the difference? And then we still believe in respectability politics. And look, this is if I get this, then they won't leave, they won't bother me. This and that. Like, no, you're not gonna run away from it. You're not gonna run away from what the Matrix has to offer to you, African, which is shit. Which is a low level state of producing results. Because the moment you set up and understand what your power is, then the Matrix, that's the Matrix's greatest fear. Is because they worked so long, so hard. You gotta understand the diabolical nature of what the Matrix has done, or what white supremacy has gone through in their own right to destroy us and destroy us psychologically, on top of biologically and emotionally, spiritually. Right, along centuries. It was a long-standing training program for them to condition us in this way to where now we do it for them, right?
By default. It's what business calls automation.
And as long as
they've automated us,
and as long as there are more of us that are born within that conditioning already, then those people continue to be the perpetuators of that conditioning.
Continue to produce.
If you don't know what was before, then you're not gonna combat it. And that's why it's such a dangerous situation when Africans dig into the history books where our knowledge is dangerous. We're now Google, something that was once quote unquote reliable for information source gets tainted like a Google, right? You can't even really Google legitimate information because today is there, tomorrow is not, because it counteracts what the Matrix is trying to offer. We've seen it becomes a frightening reality when your reliable sources of information are no longer reliable. So now you have to do your real digging. And because it's been such a hard-fought road, genetically, by epigenetic trauma, that there's so many of us now that are tired. I don't even want to go back to do the peeling back. I don't want to deal with condition. I just want to live until I die. Trying to be happy. I'm gonna live until I die.
And what is that?
On my own accord, not by the police. I'm just living till I die. Keep my head low. Don't bother nothing. and just deal with it. They're gonna call me something, they're gonna touch my hair, they're gonna touch my hair, whatever.
It's by virtue of programming.
And that's exactly, it's by virtue of programming. So we're willing to deal with that versus actually step into the identity of ourselves, the Kuji Chagalia.
But what is that? Learn helplessness, family.
Learn helplessness.
It's learn helplessness, and they created the funnel to the light.
Yes.
Allegedly the light, right? It's a beguiling, it's a manipulation in sight, right? It's your optic illusion. Right. But it looks like a tunnel to light. The tunnel to light is so thin, and these are the parameters that you can function within to get to that light. And once you get there, it's still an optical illusion. Absolutely. Because you know what we do? We drug ourselves. You know what they're doing? That these folks have all this money, and they're into other behaviors that are destructive against their spirit because they're still not awakened. They're still not spiritually and consciously awakened. So that's where we get stuck at in our space of supposed to be elevation, because we think that we're going to play games because we're in our learned helplessness. Well, we got to do this. You know what they say? Better not do business with black folks. They don't pay. Right? This is what we've agreed to do. Instead of us Ujima in application, making our brothers and sisters' problems our problems. And there's a problem that we're having as a collective in the fact that we have an issue with our collective behavior, our collaborative ability, our social landscape of interactions. And I'm here to tell you, I've spun through so many lessons because I'm a solution-based thinker. So I'm constantly in motion. I'm constantly seeking the answer. So I'm telling you, we are in a detriment in a major way with our basic social interactions
with one another.
So with that alone is impeding our trajectory to sovereignty for the African. If we cannot get past our basic social interaction hiccups, it's pretty much we just spun around just and this is why most of us give up and say, you know what, I ain't gonna bother with that. I got one life to live. I'm going and rock out. I'm a sell out. I'm gonna do what I gotta do for me and mine. And you can't do for our people because our people don't appreciate. These are the things that is in our, and these things are born of something.
Right.
These narratives, although we should try not to perpetuate them in our correction, our self-correction. Let me tell you what I was told. I was told by an elder that in my knowing, and trust me, I've told you 1,000 times, African, I don't know all the knowing that there is to know, but I do know what I do know.
Okay.
I do know what I do know. And I don't know all the knowing that there is to know because I'm consistently looking for more knowing because I need more material to create more answers. Right? So I'm constantly in a state of knowing, of trying to know more.
Knowledge and application is power.
Knowledge and application, because I want to apply. So I'm constantly looking for more knowing so I can apply more doing to the doing to create the solutions for what's happening in our landscape. So the elder tells me that I got to be in a space where I'm willing to learn so that this elder can tell me that I need to sitting down so that he can stand up there and do what he's doing. And so that I don't feel that my knowing is bold enough to check him. I don't check anybody. My life experience may or may not convict your behavior. It is what it is because I've made certain choices with my life. But I'm going to tell you something. I do know what I do know. And if the elder is doing something that's out of line, I'm not going to check him. But I'm not going to subscribe to that either.
Right. Exactly.
Right. And I'm within a position to learn from the elder because I can also, and this is what us as people, most of us don't know how to do. This is why so many of us are getting tricked on a consistent basis by these charlatans because you don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. Right. You don't want to go, I don't want to do all the work that the elder has done. So I'm going to take what's useful about what the elder is producing. And if there is a space for a sharing opportunity, then I might, in private and have a secret conversation. And I've had these conversations. And you know what happened? Feelings and ego.
Right.
Because in our society, we're trained to have a win-lose. So if I check you, then obviously I've exposed your deficit. And now you're embarrassed. So now you either cower away, you disappear. The relationship is now strained because I've now had a conversation with being weird. We are in a learning curve, all of us. There's no one in the matrix that knows all the knowing on the African landscape to create the necessary support that we need as a collective. Everybody is given a soul and a gift. Everybody's gifts are necessary. Everybody's contributions are necessary. What everybody has to offer is necessary. So spend time unfolding your gift so that you can make an application to the landscape to help move us forward.
Yeah, and we would benefit greatly from being honest with ourselves when
Absolutely.
we're like not realizing that even when we're in spaces like, for instance, an elder, right? An elder who's seen a lot of the crux of the civil rights movement or Jim Crow and things like that, and may have certain knowledge that's pulled from that, but also not realizing they still may have some subscriptions to white supremacy that they're still upholding into this very day, which helps them make, which is that those pieces that you compartmentalize, where you take this here, this makes sense. This may not be so conducive with actually fighting for liberation or going along this pathway. So maybe, maybe something different needs to happen to take place. Either we can work together on applying the knowledge together, learning together, or it's it's just taking that piece and then you putting it out in the way that you see makes the most sense for others to palatably consume.
Yes,
right. You know what I mean? Because now it's okay. We're like Nefra said, we've been conditioned to. It's not a beat up.
It's not a beat up.
It's like, we're being conditioned to be in a win-lose society.
Yes.
The society is very scarcity minded because why? It needs to be depended on. So as long as it's scarce, as long as you fear something, as long as you feel there's not enough of something, you need to find out, well, who has the power? That I have the power. You can depend on me. That's how the system needs to operate, or feels it needs to operate, in order for it to thrive. And that's what it's been doing for so long, which is just not true.
Jewel says overdeveloped egos.
Listen,
Sister Lisa, we're gonna get around to that health conversation a little bit when we talk about our doctors. I mean, disregard your comments, but we're gonna swing around to those comments in a little bit when we talk about Dr. Lloyd Bowles and Dr. Susan Moore in a little bit, and we're gonna get into that. But so we just want to get around this business. What business is it of itself in our African community and context is asking us to produce, and so many of us are falling victim to producing more of stuff that's tripping our brothers and sisters.
Yes.
So these behaviors, if we are in collective work and responsibility and making our brothers and sisters problems our problems, we see that we have a group of people within our community. They're at deficit. When I've seen this mechanism of lockstep work and unity in community and a collective theory work, I've seen it work under the Christian context. I've seen it work under Greek context. I see it work in the military context. I see it work in the police officers, we're all blue context. So how is it that you take this, which is one of my Babas said in a conversation with us, Dr. Kilfani, excuse me. We talked, shouts out to Dr. Kilfani, give thanks to our Baba. He said, we're having challenges synthesizing because, like I said, family, most of us just do what we told to do. We literally just do what the system prescribed. We walk in that step and we create those results. And since how you reinforce behavior, you get positive reinforcement. If you keep creating garbage, we'll keep paying you for it.
Right.
If you put more tattoos on your face and you buy more jewelry and you walk around here talking and disrespecting your women and spitting in the face in your mother's wombs, if you keep on doing this, we'll just keep heaping more blessings on you. My grandma used to say, even the devil can bless you. So you'll just keep on, they'll just keep digging you up. This is positive reinforcement. So this is why we say we can't work together. Don't do business with black folks, right? You got to get out here and entertain these white folks. Dave Chappelle said, if you want to get well, you want to get up in this world, you better, sell dope or start entertaining these white folks to some degree, however we choose to do it.
And whatever that looks like. Yeah.
Whatever that happens to look like. Because there's a place for you. When you think of the scientist and when you think of the astronaut, you should be thinking of Baba Imhotep, but you're not. You're thinking of someone Asian or someone East Indian or someone from the African diaspora from the continent or from Haiti. They don't look to you for these. This is not your space. Someone else created a space for you, and the space for you has been comic relief or physical exertion. Sports, this is where they put you, and they want to parade, and they say, "Oh, well, so and so, the 14-year-old that graduated with her master's degree recently." I forgot her name, but I saw the article.
Yes.
The other 14-year-old a couple of years ago who got into Johns Hopkins, right? Family, if we cultivate our children,
they could do.
We know what our children can create, but see, the problem is so many of us are jumping for low hanging fruit.
Right.
We jumping for low-hanging fruit and we don't want to do the hard work.
And even in that, nothing across your thought, but like even in that, there's like nothing new. Right, like Martin Luther King graduated from college, what, 15, 16, something like that. Like it's not nothing new. So like it's something that's ongoing within our society, and yet still we're still we seem to be amazed by it. It's amazing. And it's not to say it's not it's not a bad accomplishment. It's always a great accomplishment to be in a space of elevation in some facet, even though we don't really care for exactly all that the Western education system puts out for us. Right. However, there is still learning to be learned and consumed within that you can validly apply. But we've been doing this because the brilliance does run in our courses through our lineage. To be in the brilliant space, mathematics and calculus at 3 years old.
Thank you.
You know what I mean? Like on the continent, like in places like Nigeria and Ghana, like this striving and brilliance is nothing new. And what do you see a lot of that tends to happen even on this soil is that who are those scholars that end up coming out? Usually people from the continent that have come to this space.
That's right.
Because it's there. It's always been there. It's innate.
That's right.
What we've been doing is we've been born into and accept and choose, because it seems easier to believe within vacant esteem that we're not good enough to get these certain things. So we're just going to take whatever we can get. And this is as good as I'm going to be. Let me just deal with that. Right. And we need to
subordinate.
We've accepted the subordinate posture within the matrix. Right. And it is up to us to be in a constant state of awareness around these things,
state of suspicious awareness in all things.
Absolutely, around these things, and understanding when we're being duped and when we need to step in and really shift. Hold on, I know my worth in this. I know what I can do. I can do this in my sleep. But we have so many of us, especially our youth, that are conditioned to not believe in their best self, because we have our youth who have parents who are not conditioned to believe they're in their best self.
Because it's hard. They make everything's so hard. They make it look so hard. It's too hard to be on the line.
Right. It's too hard to be on the line to be different and to step in against each other's identity. Yes. Because they're now held accountable for fighting for liberation.
That's right.
You're held accountable for stepping into the brilliance of yourself and of your people. Because why? Because then that's a heavy burden. Oh, they know I'm the smart one. They're going to go to me for things.
The matrix is not supporting it. They come to me for all of the things.
Absolutely. There's a barter system. Currency used to come in a way in the form of the village of what your skills were.
That's right.
What's your traits? What's your strongest trait? You're a carpenter. You're the scientist. You're the engineer. You're the baker. You the babysitter, whatever, like the whatever
counselor,
it is,
the healer,
the banker,
right?
Like whatever it is,
welder, the carpenter,
your currency in the space of your social currency, your social credit. That's where that came from. Now it's this idea of money and these tangible things that if you don't have it, now you feel like you're worthless.
Your ability to do a thing. Now you don't have to be able to do nothing. You just show up and people just applaud you. Mm-hmm. And when people don't applaud you, like we're at somewhat of a deficit for our social strength as a community. We're not even looking to our own people to find value in us. We're looking for other people to throw parades for us. Mm-hmm. So we got to look at what is the market asking us to do, and are we taking consideration our brothers and sisters' problems and making them our own? I am my brother's keeper. This consciousness around radical individualism is a mechanism to break apart. So what the Matrix did was it looked at your whole schematic and it literally attacked every part of your schematic that gave you strength. And it either took it away or it left it and rebranded it and gave it back to you looking like something else. Because like I said, this cohesion works under other guises. It just doesn't necessarily work in the way that I would like for it to work with the speed and urgency that I would like to see it work when it comes to standing for African sovereignty and making that our trajectory. We have a lot of behaviors we've been making do inside of this matrix, and it's been hurting us. And we have so much. We have proof upon proof upon proof upon proof that this matrix doesn't work for us.
It never has our best
interest. If it doesn't work for one of us, it doesn't work for none of us.
Period.
And it actually doesn't work for a whole lot of us. Okay. They went over there to Belgium and they killed off all these people, millions of Africans in the Congo to take what the Congo had. Talking about Leopold. So I'm trying to figure out exactly when did you ever see that? Okay. Oh, that was a long time ago. Okay. Well, slavery. I didn't have no slaves. Well, you benefit from a system that was built on slavery.
Exactly.
And you're not giving anything back that you have.
Exactly.
Remember, African people make things happen and people don't make things happen. So people go to work every day and maintain inequity. They maintain police killing innocent African people with no weapons. There's people that work every day, and they choose to participate because humanity. If humanity was on the line for everybody, because we can't have a kumbaya conversation. Unfortunately, we can't afford as Africans to have a kumbaya. We're not there yet.
We're nowhere near yet.
We're not there yet. So don't let these people deceive you.
Here's where we're at. Kumbaya's over there.
Okay, well, kumbaya is whenever you choose to make it. If you want a kumbaya, you're going to be leading the charge. That's how we're going to do that. Because African folks been kumbayaing for too long and we wasted time. So we're not going to kumbaya. Right now, we're going to take all our energy and our attention and we're going to focus it on fixing African. That's what we're going to do. We don't really, we can interact because we're going to be hospitable and courteous because that's what we do. These are the kind of people we are, right? We're going to be hospitable. We're going to be courteous. But we don't have no time for kumbaya right now. Right now, strict focus on fixing African, fixing yourself, and unearthing your mental side, and also cataloging how your mental side shows up, where those symptoms are in your life and behavior, where are those symptoms in your talk and your self-talk, where are those symptoms showing up in your house, because we need critical mass. We can't have one person, us, two folks over there, three people over there, a little village over there, a couple of folks over there, and these folks are doing little pockets because Robert Claude Anderson said 90,000 to start a nation. Why? Because he felt like we could probably get 90,000 people to get lockstep and get their minds right and get focused up and be willing to commit with every fabric of their being to future generations and to the sovereignty of the African village. It may be more difficult to get all of these people who are willfully contributing to their own demise and their laziness, right? Because remember, the Matrix spoiled us into weakness. We so spoiled with the things that we have that we don't even consider ourselves having to be out here putting in no work. That might take us having to do without certain amenities and conveniences while we build up our stuff. We just, man, you know what? They stuff is better than ours. Let's just stay with them. So we can get out of this, African. We got to make our brothers and sisters. We are our brothers' keepers, right? I mean, I've been doing this, like I told you know, Hesif. Well, we've been doing this for a long time. We talk about it because we want to hope that some more people pick up the mantle. Let's go, folks. We got to make our brothers and sisters work our work. And let me tell you, it's a challenge because we rifling with the Matrix. We rifling with our people. It is what it is. It has to be discussed. It has to be brought into the space. We must make accommodations for improving on these things. We are in the learning curve. Oh, we're gonna address it here. You know, we're gonna address it here. Not a gripe. We have grace. An assessment. It's an assessment because we must make accommodations for our change. We must make an assessment. In learning and development, we know what strengths we have. We also need to be facing our deficits. Right. And it's not an embarrassment. It's not a big eye and little you here. There are no big eyes and little you here. We're all in the oven. You in the front, I'm in the back. So what? We both burning.
And that's a matter of getting out of ego.
Focus up.
Getting out of ego to feel like you're too big to receive knowledge. You can
focus up, African.
Because the moment you start acting like this destination of like woke, this idea of woke is a destination.
Oh,
we're not there yet. Right. So because there's a lot of people that still have a lot of learning to do.
Yes,
and
ma'am.
The moment you stop,
yes, sir.
The moment you stop learning is actually when you stop living, right? Because there's always something new to learn because life is ever evolving. Right. So in that our culture is ever evolving, our people are ever evolving, right? And we're learning more and more each day. So the more we learn, the more we step into it, the more powerful we can get.
Come on, family.
Together.
Let's do it together.
We need to be in that and stay in a quote unquote space of humbleness, humility. Around how we deal with each other, because there's always a lot to learn from one another.
Oh,
and if there can stand to be correction, because there will need to be correction because we deal with many deficits, right? And there's still we still learn ourselves.
Absolutely, every day.
How we can be with our
every
people,
day,
right? So there's no like any levels here. We are working within a plateau of a playing field that we need to get through before we can even think about the mountain. So let's get into it, family. What are you gonna say?
And we definitely, you were mentioning that we're in a plateau of learning, but we are in our learning curve as well as you're in your learning curve. But we have certain strengths that we use to fortify the family.
Right.
We use our strengths to fortify the family. But yes, you are in humility. But African, when you stand out here in this space and when you hold back the river. You got to know what you're working with. I have had people across my life trying to shrink me because they don't want to deal with me knowing that I know and knowing what I know and knowing that I can stand here and hold the river. But African, you need to know you can hold the river. You need to know what you're good at. You need to know what's going to work for the family. Ujima is based on you knowing what your collective work is. You taking responsibility here. You need to know what's in your hand, and you need to wear it well. And let me tell you, there's not enough. There's not enough hours in the day to tussle with our family and waste time. Right? It's not about not being humble because you know what you know in confidence. It's about you being humble and not being in arrogance, like you can't be told anything. You can't be checked. Right? Because we don't walk around here checking people. We simply live. We simply be. And that in and of itself checks people. Oh, folks get in line when they come to me. I vibrate in African, and it took a lot of training to do that. My first default thinking is in African. It took a lot of time to do that. Reading the code in the matrix. It took a long time to do that. And we try our best in all of our spaces and places where we have our expressions and our gifts to demonstrate and to give that back to the family. Because if we can cut your learning curve in half, then you can speed up and get to your gifts and start out here getting to work. Because we don't benefit from holding you back. Right.
We're too abundant.
We're as a collective, because we're spending so much time holding each other back, we're not getting nowhere.
Yeah.
We're not getting nowhere.
We gotta let go of what the matrix
let it go
has us like holding on to. We can't deal with this whole scarcity stuff. Everybody can live in a win-win space.
Come on, family.
Everybody can be abundant enough.
We're abundant
to have the cup runneth over in our skills, our ability, our talents, our love, our spirits, our strengths, to where we can push each other right along. Right in this relay race, you pass the baton. Keep it going, right? Because still, like I said, we're still running along this plateau trying to figure this stuff out, and we can't waste time meddling with each other because it's still the mountain to climb. There's still that mountain of liberation that we need to get.
We still got to get that part of the work done.
And you can't.
We're still in the valley. We're still in the valley, family.
You can't be like settled on that. Well, there's a mountain. That's it. No, because there's something on the other side of it.
Well, so many of us be like, man, that's hard. It's too big. It's too much.
Right.
So, family, let's work on that.
Absolutely.
Let's make that an application, because the principles are nice to recite. They're nice in theory, but there actually is some application that works along with these principles.
None of this is about cuteness.
Blackness
is not cuteness. Yeah. Blackness is not. I mean, we cute out here, right?
Some of us is cute. Some of us ain't that cute, but I'm just saying. God made us all. Don't matter. The divine made us all.
I mean, cute in the overall. Maybe
not
so
much. I'm messing with you.
Whatever.
It's not about what you look like, family. In other words, it's not what you look like.
It's not a trend, right? Like, let's be clear. Let's not be our African selves.
Come on now.
Falling in line with being trendy.
It's not about what we look like. That's right.
That doesn't work. You can't appropriate yourself. That makes no sense. So stop.
But we're doing it.
We're doing it.
We're doing it. So we get to check in with our mental side. Baba Malemu Baruti, get that book. I always check you guys and make sure you all, do I have it nearby? No, I don't have it nearby today. Get that book, that Menticide, orange cover, Menticide, 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 Malema Baruti. You want to check in, you want to do your own self account. I'm real big on personal responsibility. I don't validate African people. You're too grown for that.
No.
I need you to get to work.
Man.
I need you to pick up what I'm putting down. Use whatever you can and keep it moving and get to work. Don't use these as Pazam and Shazam and try to con and maneuver people, because you can, but don't use it for that. Have integrity.
And prioritize the choices around your time.
Yeah.
What are you putting energy into? What are you subscribing to? What are you choosing to? Because you keep choosing bullshit and expecting some like glamorous results.
No.
You have to have something different happen.
But you'll feed that ego, and then you'll have to feed it again.
Right.
You'll get a little Shazam, little pizzazz, and then you'll get some what do you call it? Some glitter and some
jazzy.
You'll get some stars and stuff, and then they'll disappear.
Get that glow.
Come on, family. So we want to have a collective conversation as a unified conversation of us elevating bit by bit, because that's what it's going to take. Every person making themselves the greatest asset to the whole, laying their brick and contributing to moving forward and upward in our trajectory as a community. Give thanks.
It's not just about lateral moves. Get out your shit. Let's get it.
Get out your shit. So listen, okay. So the business, we got through that one, right, y'all? We got through the industry is asking us to produce more garbage, and we doing it, and we gonna stop that right now in 2021. So family, what's up? We're gonna make sure that we're gonna make a quick interjection, and we're gonna talk about those Soundbytes features. We had Taji Mag for the holiday.
Shouts out to our features. We're looking
Shouts
for these Africans we want to just lift up for the holiday season and check out what they got going on.
Check in with Taji Mag. Taji Mag's digital annual subscription. Yes. This is African Quarterly. African Quarterly is African cultural art, and it's an incredible magazine.
Majestic.
It's so much more than just a magazine. Yeah. If you thought you were enamored by anything else, this one will take you over the top.
And it's
of just beauty and opulence and amazing. And
opulence is a good word.
Opulence. It's definitely,
when you're talking about African opulence.
It's definitely
from Afrofuturism to tribal culture. Like it transcends history. And just a visual representation. Shouts out to Nay Marie, Taji Mag. Like just what she's doing with the culture with that. It's quarterly.
And they hire.
Yes, and hire blacks.
They hire
Africans
blacks.
Up in there.
They have
creators,
African writers,
contributors, right?
Yes,
artists.
It's a full outfit.
Yes,
it's a full
gamut.
Functional outfit. It's incredible.
And I know from last I checked, she's looking for photographers to contribute now. Going forward. So check out TajiMag, TajiMag.com.
TajiMag.com.
Absolutely. So
$18 subscription for the digital quarterly magazine to your email.
You get
show it to your children.
Yes.
Remember, we used to do Scholastic Reader when I was coming up in school. That's when they start. Oh, just a quick spin. They told us about they prepared us. Well, my particular teacher prepared us for thinking about solutions when I was in 3rd, 4th, 5th grade. About the wind turbines and energy, what's coming in the next 25 years. They were talking about this with us in Scholastic Reader, our little kitty newspaper, about, agriculture and finding out what we as kids can start thinking about creating solutions for the future, because we kind of knew some of this stuff was going to happen. Y'all think this is special. This ain't special. They was preparing for this madness a long, long time ago. But family, we also got Nia Cosmetics by Nia. Listen, shouts out Nia Cosmetics. Give thanks. She was one of our features. Listen, get into that Nephara skin box. Listen, y'all. She named the skin box after my skin regimen. Okay. So it's her skin cleanser, and it's these little chocolate coffee cubes that she uses, and they're chocolate coffee cubes, and it smells amazing, and it exfoliates your skin. I've been using it for years now, along with the vitamin C serum family. Get into it. The whole kit is $68, but it's 50% off starting on the 30th to the 1st. Cosmetics by Nia. It's on the Soundbytes. It's on the Soundbytes page, y'all. Get into it.
Okay.
Cosmetics by Nia. We also got Brother Bello from Bello Burn.
Out Bello Burn. Bello Burn in the building. Our good brother Bello Burn. He got those organic, homemade, fresh out the garden.
Yes,
sauce,
you want to get into that.
Get into it. Make sure you go to belloburn.com.
I love hot
BELLO burn.com.
Yes.
Straight out the gate, straight out the garden from our brother 20 Bello, representing the DMV legend. He's making organic chilies, jalapenos and honey and habaneros and just all in these great flavor profiles. It's like it just takes hot sauce and heat and spice to another level. So we appreciate that, brother. Black-owned hot sauce brand that's been killing it this past few months alone. Just started like fresh out of COVID and really just bursting on the scene, man. So you got to join the wave. Get you some Bello Burn. Spice up your chickens, spice up your meat, spice up your life. Get that Bello Burn.
Get into it.
Absolutely.
And one more really quickly. We're gonna do
our good brother.
Get into it.
Our good brother Joseph Goins, aka AJ Throwback.
Okay.
Our man,
play his song at the end of the shift, every shift.
Absolutely.
3 of us, so three of them.
Absolutely. We got our brother. He has his own platform as well, radio platform as well, the Bounce on That radio show on Win DC Radio. He's coming to you live and direct, definitely every Wednesday, and he's also broadcast throughout the week as well. He got it on the go. He's got some great features. It's not just my brother's he's a musician, an incredible lyricist, an incredible producer, but it's not just music. It's so much more. It runs the gamut of
more fortification for the African
landscapes from nonprofit owners to marketers, to
get into it,
accountants, to other artists, to just be all running the whole gamut of supporting your livelihood and supporting your fundamental growth. So shouts out to the brother Joseph Goins, our brother AJ Throwback. He's been holding down one of our supporters since day one. From the first episode of Soundbytes, we appreciate him.
We appreciate him.
So please check him out. Please check out Balance and Out Radio Show. Bars.
B-A-R-Z. Bars.
So get it popping on that. So shout out to him, and let's support Black-owned messaging, Black-owned voices, Black-owned content, African content. And what is that in? Tomorrow, since we're not only here tomorrow, Ujima, which is cooperative economics, which is how we support our people. We're making our stores and our shops. We support that and help the economics and grow within our communities. Right? That's what Ujima is about. So let's bring some Ujima in our lives.
We want to help the people who know when they get a coin, when they get support, they're going to turn around and help the community.
Absolutely.
We oftentimes say there's so much things. Sorry, B-A-R-S. I didn't mean to say B-A-R-S.
Oh my gosh, I already said
because I didn't realize it. I was like, oh, my bad. But we want to support the people. We want to support the people that we know when they get their coin, because it's like, what Jay-Z is doing, and what is Oprah doing for the Black community, and what is all of these people? You know something?
Okay, now what are you doing for the Black community right now?
Another space that once they get into a certain space, I told you I was in this space. I work with the folks. They don't control their money. They don't even see their junk mail. And if they want to start building, you mean to tell me Jay-Z could not buy Marcy Projects and redo that whole space? You don't think he could have did that? No. Why would he do that? Because now you're going to start to help reshape a group of people. All it takes is one, family. Remember, the Matrix said, whatever you do, prevent the rise of a Black Messiah. It only takes one African, one. They took our energy, our Baba, Malcolm X, from the landscape. They hunted for 30 lives of the African revolutionaries of the 60s. They took them off the planet under the guise of a hard body, white-centered consciousness attack on African revolutionary sovereignty, freedom, and protection.
Absolutely.
You can't call it no other way. There's no other way to cutesy it. That's basically what occurred.
Right.
Okay. And now we have these lynchings that are happening, which segues us into our next point. Yes. We have these lynchings that are occurring now under the guise of this COVID thing here.
I just want to give a quick shout out before we get into that. So our brother Joseph said going to be a LLC in 2021, making big things happen. So shout out to you, brother. Let's get it. Let's get that business
out here in these streets.
Real rap.
Thanks. Because the only thing those things do for us, family, you want to make sure you compartmentalize and synthesize. So these things give you functionality in the matrix so that you can support your community more.
Absolutely.
If you're not doing it for that reason, our brother Goins, we know he's doing it for that reason.
Yeah.
We know that we've done it for this reason. We got Husky Music over here, boom, boom, Husky Music Entertainment.
Yes, Husky Music
LLC does many things.
2021, we doing
has produced my projects, etc., etc.
Production, artist development, all these things coming soon in 2021. So stay tuned. And everything is intentional in the growth and the quality of not only music but of artists themselves, and people, especially of African people. I got our people first.
That's right.
That's right. That's just what it is. But that's what we're going to build in 2021 going beyond. So just a quick segue into that.
Quick segue.
African business and building up Ujima going into 2021. So check out, look for more from Husky Music Entertainment. We out here. So.
That's right, family. So, and we also have we want to talk about these things that's happening in our social strata right now.
Yes. We wouldn't be who we are. We didn't.
Well, we're definitely going to mention. We're going to give honor and take a moment to acknowledge Dr. Susan Moore, who gave her last breaths to bring into reality the harsh reality that we already knew of the mistreatment that African people get within this matrix. And like I said, African people make things happen and people don't make things happen. People go to work every single day. So this is not for, we all hate white people. We don't like white people. It has nothing to do with that.
Right.
It has something to do with the fact that people, everyday people, John and Jane Q, public white folks, are making decisions every day to uphold what is best for them by virtue of minimizing what is best for you. Dr. Moore was in the hospital with COVID. She is a physician. At the very least, this is what most of us African people think. This is what some of us think in our mental side, is that we will get professional courtesy, that if we get educated enough, if we get accoladed enough, that the matrix will treat us differently. It has yet to happen. They have our brother our elder, Bill Cosby, half blind in his sunset days behind bars, needing support to get up to go to the bathroom with absolute disregard. If that's not cruel and unusual punishment, I don't know what it is. But you need the Matrix to tell you that that's cruel and unusual punishment. When Epstein, they still haven't got Trump in the presidency. He's sitting here doing whatever he want to do, and he's guilty of the same alleged crimes that allegedly Bill Cosby was accused of.
A free for all of deviant behavior this guy's doing. People just letting it rock.
Just free for all.
And that alone is a tale of two Americas, right?
Yeah.
Talking about a president, 4 years,
yeah.
impeached, all that, the whole gamut,
Someone
trials and everything.
Supposed to have integrity, at least the appearance of integrity. This guy is the worst 3-year-old in a grown man's body, throwing temper tantrums, and supposed to be representing a country.
And I got more support than the first time.
It's interesting.
In certain cases,
but you know what? People make things happen, and people don't make things happen. You know what white women people did? 51% voted for him the first time. 53% white women voted for Trump in the second roll. So where are these white women people voting for Trump that increased by 2% from the first election to the second election? I just want you to interact with that, because you keep interacting with the Matrix like it's a ghost. It's not a ghost. People make things happen and people don't make things happen.
And here's where we're subscribing to the deficits, is because even there's actually a higher count of black folks that voted for him this year off of some whatever fuck ass thing of like, well, he's a racist and at least he shows he's a racist. Okay, we still a racist.
That sounds foolishness. That sounds like foolishness.
Like a fucking idiot. Like, he's still out there. Great. I'm glad I can see he's honest. No, he's not. He lies at every turn he gets.
These things are affecting our quality of life on a daily basis.
Are you like smoking all of the crack?
How many lynchings have they had this year, family?
Stop.
How many lynchings were there today?
In the grand landscape of everything that's happened in humanity, to even fix yourself to even be in a space of like, yes, I think I'll support this guy. You have to be sick. You have to be
something has to be wrong with you.
Severely ill.
And someone says, "Oh, why do white people vote against their own interests?" Listen, I can't even consider trying to sit
other people
here.
Getting fucked up.
I'm not going to sit here and try to call myself dissecting why white folks do the things they do, because I'm not going to spend my time and energy in that.
I'll cut off my arm if it means you lose your life.
I do know that.
That's what that is about.
I do know that our context of humanity and other people's context of humanity is very different. Remember, African, it has been built into the Matrix that there's devalue for the African life. Dr. Susan Moore said that there was a doctor, I forget his name, Breer. The
guy that denied her?
Yes.
Dr. Fuckass, that's his name. Go ahead.
Got it. And actually Push Black on Instagram, if you want to check Push Black on Instagram, they have the video with his picture where he and Dr. Moore, she gave her breath in a time when breath was so important, right? Since they said the COVID attacks your respiratory system. She's giving breath as she's live. Mind you, you do know that they're not allowing people to visit folks in the hospital, which I call, yet again, cruel and unusual punishment. Okay? Are you trying to tell me that so that people can do whatever they want to do with you, your family can't even look after you? This doctor is saying to the nurse, and she says, "Oh, I have other customers. I have other patients. You're not the only one. You've been in here once in your 4-hour shift with a patient that you know is possibly on their dying bed, since you guys claim this thing is killing folks." So with zero compassion, attitude. I don't want to hear people's attitude when they're at work. You understand? I've had a lot of jobs across my landscape. Different jobs, different industries. Every single position I've ever had, done it to the absolute best. Because it's not about the job, it's about me. And 99.9% of the time, I'm in service to the people. Even if I'm in the back end and my work translates to reaching an end user, I'm still in service to other human beings on the other side of that product. If I was in a factory and I was making these bottles, I don't see the customer that's going to buy this bottle, but I know it will eventually reach a customer. That's not going to be a cat. Cats are not buying bottles. Family. But this is ours. Yeah, cats are damn. But I am trying to understand This is a nurse. Nursing is supposed to be a part of caretaking. And I've had experiences, which is why we teach African advocacy from the context of advocacy and not and using a mechanism that is slightly manipulative, but gets you the desired effect, because we are in a war right now. People are on autopilot and your humanity doesn't matter. We've seen, how many lynchings have we watched on TV this entire year? And let me tell you, this has been COVID. There hasn't even been as much busying on the streets and coming and going this year as it has been in our past 60 years. We've pretty much been confined on the quote unquote stay-at-home order, right, family? Voluntary stay-at-home order for the great majority of this COVID experience.
There's some people that legit have not left their houses still. I applaud
so
y'all.
How is it that these people are getting, how is it that Breonna Taylor, and we're going to really wanted to talk also about Dr. Bowes, Dr. Lloyd Bowes, who also died of COVID, who was a podiatrist who visited people. He died in Johns Hopkins, 56 years old. Another doctor dying because of getting poor care. So if you're a doctor and you've been to school, just like Dr. Skowski or whoever he is, okay, you done as much time as he done in school, right? Because white folks like to say things like, well, I worked hard and I built up. Let me tell you what, Dr. Moore finished medical school and she had 5 worlds sitting on her back, because she also had a 19-year-old son. She's leaving behind a 19-year-old son, along with the fact that she's African, along with the fact that microaggressions are part of white folks' daily behavior, and they don't even see it. Every single day, just a basic, when they open their mouth to speak to an African, they speak in patronizing ways. They speak in ways to diminish your being and insult your intelligence. It's by default. It's not even about jealousy at this point. It's just because of reaction. It's a default. It's not even calculated. They don't even see it coming. And you're not supposed to speak about it, because you're supposed to sweep under the rug and poo-poo and pander to white fragility. Because the moment that you speak up and you be present, you'll be set aside as difficult, as hard to maintain, difficult to work with. They love to label you with things in white-centered consciousness. Coachable, all that others, right? All of the stuff, all the colorful white people language, wrong terms that they like to call you, because you're not going to stand for the foolishness. You see? Or they poo-poo like they do me, because they just can't beat me. You can't outthink me. You're not. It's going to be kind of hard, right? Because you're pulling from a playbook. And I'm thinking from a whole nother perspective. I'm thinking from African-centered consciousness. So my calculations are going to be way different from yours. Right. Way different.
And you have to be in a space to critically think like that, because a lot of people, like you said, are going out of a playbook. Our people too. But a lot of people, a lot of them are also like working out of a playbook of things and a script that's been conditioned in themselves.
That's right.
Just as we've suffered the condition of the trauma and the trauma response, they've suffered with but they've been imbued with the condition of being trauma inducers.
Yes.
Without a lot of them not even realizing it these days. Even in the space of the liberal space, if you're not watching yourself, they're going to come out. It's going to come out in some particular fashion. But it's if you challenge anything beyond that script, if you go off their script and their show that you didn't know you were part of truly, then that's when it becomes does not compute. Danger Will Robinson. I'm about to have my head explode. I'm going to either disappear. I'm going to either lash out in anger. I'm going to either not even resonate in a adequate social context that's necessary and conducive to humanity continuing.
Humanity.
Period.
Because you know what we could do in this world space? We could actually create harmony. We could actually create a win-win. But you remember the Berlin Conference, right? When European nations sat there and they created legislation, they built armies to take African resources and people and force them to do what they wanted to do to serve their goals and needs. That's what happened. And there we end up here. These things, you got to be careful of what's happening behind the velvet curtain. Because you see one thing, another thing is actually happening. This entire social landscape is taking an entire overhaul right now. You are not seeing what's happening, African. You have no idea how imperative it is for you to fold in Ujima, collective work and responsibility. There has been no greater time than now. And we are yet again about to show up in reaction when we could have been in planning mode. See, we could have made this happen in the Matrix as a collective of people. We could have caused this country to halt itself as it has financially. Where are all those millionaires and rich folks that are losing money hand over fist in the beginning of this COVID? They quiet. You ain't heard nothing from them folks? They quiet. The people lose it. They was hemorrhaging. Where they at? Somebody shut them up. Somebody gave them some kickback money to participate, because people make things happen and people don't make things happen. So while you twitching and twerking and everything is fun and games for you, we're about to be in reactionary mode. We're about to have to try to pick up the pieces after the mess has been made, which happens to us too often. We got to get our people on board. This is not a big eyes or little U's conversation. I need people capable, able, determined, and fully functional to be on the ground, being the difference that's different, on track for African sovereignty. That's what I need. I don't need people to follow me and platform me and poop me and clap for me and do the heebie-jeebie on me and sing my praise. That's not what we need. It's not practical. Right. It's not functional on track to creating sovereignty for the African. It's not practical. Leaders create more leaders. We need to create more leaders. Don't take it. Don't Shazam. Don't pizzazz. Don't get none of those. Don't do that, because that's not practical in the application of having people be able to put this work on and be in action in a daily basis. That's what we want. That's the goal. Not all the getting. Stop getting. You got enough knowledge. Get to work. Do the doing. And you got to know how to strategize. We as a community, we need to know how to strategize in the matrix for our best interests, because we're using these matrix things, and these matrix things are broken. They defunct. So that's a maintenance conversation. That's in the meantime, while we building our own stuff. Sue, Mary, and Jane, y'all have those folks over there doing this thing, because this thing is going to be necessary in 20 years. For right now, we're going to do this thing because this thing is going to get us to that thing. Right. That's it.
Matrix has been multitasked for a long time.
Of course it has.
You have to step on board and do the same thing.
Oh my goodness.
We've been conditioned to believe that we can't do these same things. We shouldn't do these same things. We shouldn't do these same things for the sake of destroying other people, but we should do these same things for the sake of benefiting and growing and fortifying ourselves.
Yes, thanks.
Just so much people, there's other groups that put race first, that put their culture first.
They're doing
put their family first. They're doing it without with no retribution or anything, and then they're just allowed to live.
Nepotism.
Why is it African that we can't step into those same spaces to cultivate ourselves around loving African, it's supporting African, growing African, identifying an African, right? No matter what space we're in.
Vibrating in African.
Energy. Buying African, lifting up African, loving African. It should not be this insane idea in the space of everybody else. And if it is, who gives a fuck? And why should we have why should we have to coddle that reality? They don't like it. Who cares?
So what? It's not their business.
We need to like it. We need to love it. We need to be in it unabashedly and unapologetically in order for our best fortification, our best foot forward, because other nations do the same thing. And you should really be in the space of like critical thought around why are we not allowed, quote unquote, allowed to in the face of the matrix.
If we accept a subordinate posture, why are African people not allowed to cultivate community and unity? Right. Why come every time African people are doing something, somebody else got to come up in here and be oversight? Why somebody else over here watching the money? Why we can't have our own bank? Why we can't have our own community like everybody else got? Little China, little Italy. You got certain community. Why we ain't got our own stuff? I don't mean Harlem. I don't mean the style. I don't mean these things where we live there, but we don't own there, right? What is this? Why are these things happening? Oh, but Africans, we are, because we're training, right? Remember I said to you, African, so many of us are doing things, but we really need therapy because our deficits are showing up in our doing. Right. Our ego, our self-hatred, our, our worthiness conversations are showing up as a part of our doing because we haven't addressed our work.
Right.
And we just jumped in the game, and the Matrix knows that because we don't really have a system to address those things along the way. And the first part of addressing them is identifying them. And it was illegal in public to identify the fact that the higher you go, the wider you go. The systems are being built by people that are not you. So if these things are impacting your quality of life, then somebody else created them. Then clearly people who are having a white cultural experience created them. So that's based on deductive reasoning. It didn't take a rocket scientist to figure that out, but nobody is willing to say that because you know what? They got to accept that subordinate posture because, I got to do me. I got to get mine because, I can't depend on my community to back me up.
It's too simple. It's too simple to think of. No, there's no way that my life could be this hard because this is it. No, it has to be this other grandiose thing.
No,
it has to actually be Thanos floating in the clouds, doing some things in puppetry. Something else. It can't be just this simple that this is what it is.
That's it.
The white supremacy is just doing what it's doing.
That's it. United Compensatory Code system.
There are these folks that benefit from it, and by virtue of that, they're doing what they're doing, whether or not they realize it, in response to us, in reaction to our being.
She said, "Say that one more time. Therapy is needed. Awareness of needs are imperative."
Yes, we need to know
our family.
We need to be aware of our needs. We need to be aware of our deficits, our needs, our wants, our essentials, and how we can get to it. Yes, talking about get to the bag, get to your life.
We out here doing all this doing. We doing all this doing, and we not doing no addressing our work, and we out here doing more harm than good.
Come up in this room, close the door, lock the door, pull the curtain, and let's
get to
have
your
a chat.
work.
Get to work. They knocking.
Get to your work. These folk be running, but you know what? Michael Jackson said you can't run from the man in the mirror. Wherever you go, he or she gonna be right there with you. What's up, you might can fool me, but you might can fool somebody. You ain't gonna be fooling me, but you can fool somebody because I be seeing you.
I be seeing you fool.
Okay, but you know what? You can't fool you, and you can hide, and you can fashion. Because a lot of times our people just embarrassed. They said there's a saying that said, if I tell my side of the story, a whole lot of people will be embarrassed. A lot of people will be hurt. See, I don't win nothing. I don't win nothing for fronting you. There's no prizes for it. It doesn't make me feel good. I'm not sadistic. It doesn't make me happy to see harm come to other African people.
Exactly.
Let you put up there, somebody died, or you got sick, or somebody you got fired, or someone 1,000 people to show up to watch a car wreck. Let you say there's some good going on in your life, maybe 5 people to show up for that. Brother said, I got a new job, 300 people show up. I started my own business, 5 people showed up. You've seen that meme.
Oh, you did it?
You've seen that meme.
You roll with me, now you did something I didn't want to do. People did not feel like I was enough to do.
Okay, your enoughness.
Well, you rock out there. And that's all we battle with.
Your enoughness.
That is the key critical one we battle with is our enoughness to do what needs to be
our enoughness.
What we can do, what we've always been do. We talked about the brilliance earlier. Our brilliance is innate. That's what we do. We do what we do for a reason. But we have
to stop measuring against the metrics of the matrix.
Exactly.
Stop measuring your
the matrix doesn't
metrics
have
against the matrix.
The matrix pulls from our well. The matrix pulls from our well. Style, culture, vernacular. Everything is pulled from our well. And we do, and then keep it moving. No, you need to see and understand that. Tanning, all those other things. Want to be us, but want to eradicate you. Why?
Stop
the body snatchers.
Measuring your
look at yourself.
Amazingness against the metrics of the matrix.
You are, because you are the measure.
You're already worthy.
You're it.
You're already worthy. Along with the breath of life and your gift came your full worthiness. The only you know how you got abridged? The matrix. The matrix needed to shrink you and abridge you intentionally to control you. So when you stand in your spiritual bigness, the matrix then has to adjust. Remember when Neo stood in that hallway after his knowing and he went and the walls bit? It has to adjust to your knowing. Once you recognize yourself, because I know myself, but once you know yourself, African, the space around you will have to adjust. So this is why I said right now, you shouldn't be fighting with white folks. Don't even bother. They're trapped in a whole nother psychosis of metrics and matrix and madness. Let them rock out, even the nice ones, even the smiling ones. Let them rock out, because whiteness is a cultural experience that they have had and are having. When they come into their humanity space, they look at this matrix very different. I don't need applause. I don't need shouters. I don't need folks up here throwing paint on people with fur coats. That's not helpful to me or the planet. You know what's helpful? Build humanity that's inequitable. That's equitable for everyone. But remember, if equity is spread across the landscape, white center conscious believe they lose something. Remember, Jane Elliott, the white teacher, if white people only have whiteness, without that, they actually have nothing. Because there's no ancient white history. They wrote themselves into ancientness with Greek mythology. You got to know the tricks. You got to read the matrix, family. And that's a whole nother conversation that you don't even need to be bothered with. Right now, focus on your spiritual bigness. Yeah. And the matrix will adjust to you. And work on Ujima, collective work and responsibility. Make your brothers and sisters problems your problems and work together to find solutions.
Yeah, let's maintain it.
Let's maintain it. And guess what, African? Solutions. You get to check in lovingly with your people. Stop letting your people be reckless. Friends don't let friends do dumb shit. The dope man, the gun toters, the carjackers, these are somebody's children. They was your brothers and your boyfriends. You letting them do this stuff. You are as responsible for them and their behavior. And
that's another thing we
Guilt
don't want to hear
by
either.
Association. Them ain't somebody else's kids, them your kids. They from the same community where you at. Your kids, they all graduated from kindergarten together. How that child got lost? Who turned their back on that baby knowing that their mama was caught out there in the matrix on drugs? Get a hold to that child. That's your child. We is a community of people in African. We're not separate. Those children are our children. Get to these kids. Get to these youth. Pour into them. And stop being afraid to check your people. Check them. Because if you don't check them, they're going to come for you. You unsafe. As long as there's madness in our community, we unsafe. We unsafe. I've done and go wherever I need to go. I do what I got to do because I ain't afraid of my people. Get into this. That's your job. That's your duty as an African. Stop hiding from your people and fix your people. Because only you know how to fix them. Period. Don't nobody else know how to fix us. We know how to fix us. And usually it's just a hug and some chicken.
Okay.
I'll get some chicken.
You hug me.
Put some chicken and a piece of bread.
You get your
and some sweet potato pie.
Okay. Yeah, like chicken right on the bread.
Chicken on the bread, y'all, and some hot sauce.
Some bellow burn.
Stop playing. You know that fix everything. That fixes all kind of stuff.
Listen,
stop playing, family.
Fix me, damn it.
Get into it. Fix your people in 2021, family. Let's fix each other. Let's reach out to our kids because our kids keep saying we don't understand them.
So maybe you should try to understand them. Try to understand them, actually.
Our kids keep saying we don't understand our kids. We don't understand. They don't listen to us. And
chat with them.
They listen. The Matrix got our kids. They came for them. They came for our children 25 years ago. They've been coming for our youth. And they came for our youth in our wombs even before they was born. When they started attacking our DNA systems. When they started attacking our health, they was coming for our children. They were planning to come for our children. Some of our children today are desensitized. Some of our children are lacking emotional responses.
Literally.
Literally.
No, like literally.
They were coming for our kids from our wombs, family, before they got here. It's our duty to see this. You are sleeping. Wake up.
It's bad.
Get to our people. You can fix us. We can fix each other. Don't be hiding out because guess what? We can fix each other. We got the power. All we need, we don't even need all the money we need. We don't need to do nothing different. Oh, we got to do this. So we got to do that. If you did exactly what you're doing now and took your money and spent it with African, we would be able to build our situation.
Yep.
Period.
Yeah.
Stop spending your money. Stop giving your resource. It's all about the
shift.
That's
it's
it.
It's all about where you're shifting it. Where you're shifting your energy and product to. That's really all it is.
Sister said longer than 25 years ago. You're right. They have been doing it longer than 25 years ago. But like recently, I'm just trying to, make it in bite sizes, sound bites, bite sizes. But yeah, it has been going on longer than that. They have been doing the science to build into our DNA to attack our children from before they were born.
I remember I was so blown away. Like I told you about this before. Where there was a little young girl on the street, teenage girl, whatever. Literally, she already looked kind of like just gone, whatever. Like. FYI,
share the link, family. Join the conversation. Drop your comments.
Appreciate you. And she's like, we're at the bus stop. She's just cycling back, and I'm watching her. And I'm like, okay, I'm wondering like if she's gonna realize she's moving for one. And she ends up like to the point she's on my foot and in front of me. I'm like, hey, hello. And I actually said that. And she still didn't move until I actually just like shifted her around, like, hey. And she was like, just gone, family. I didn't even know.
But she might have been on drugs.
I really hope
she
not.
Might have been on something.
She was a young girl. I don't know, like, she maybe 14, 15.
Man.
Maybe. But she just looks so gone. She might have been.
We gotta get our kids, man. These are our children. These are our future.
I couldn't even believe it.
In 25 years, these are our future. Trust me, they was coming for our kids because they built prisons for them. They built prisons from pipeline to prison. So you look at deductive reasoning, you look at their processes. These things don't happen overnight. When you're doing corporate things and you're doing things like building private prisons, those things take a long time to create. Yeah. So you need to understand that if these folks are planning, you need to be planning too. We need not to always be showing up in reaction to the process. There's something called being proactive.
Proaction.
Let's get into proactive. Let's make proactive 2021. Let's start setting up. Let's start getting rid of some of our deficits so that we can create some rope for ourselves, some space, so that we don't have to be up on it so close that we always in reaction.
Absolutely. We talk about resolution all the time, like New Year. Don't wait till that. Do it now. Time is now. Time is wasted.
Come on, family.
Let's get to it. We got stuff to do, family.
Come on, let's get into it, family.
We can get a few more points we want to, chat about. For one, we talk about what the Breonna statue.
Yes, the Breonna statue, family. Listen, y'all.
That
woman was killed in her. That woman was killed. This is another lynching. Kind of like the lynching.
Still has not seen justice since March 13th.
This woman is killed. She was innocent. She didn't do nothing. They shouldn't even been at her house. She didn't do nothing. Bad police work. People make things happen and people don't make things happen, because that wasn't even just the officer who was on duty. Somebody had to get a warrant. Somebody had to sign a warrant. Somebody had to galvanize the what do you call it? The bus, or there had to be a lot of coordination. There was a whole lot of people that was involved in this. People make things happen and people don't make things happen.
There was a lot of time in that whole process of even getting there to where thoughts could have been had to
somebody
be like something could have thought differently.
Yes.
Maybe we shouldn't do this. But it was a full scale, complete, executed action of execution, right? Unnecessarily. So it was you can't. I don't think we should discredit that for one bit in that whole process of knowing what was going to take place. And that's
people make things happen and people don't make things happen. I just need you to be clear about that. But in 2021, we're going to make being proactive a conversation, not the reaction. Proactive, and we need to make the conversation that people make things happen. And how are you going to catalog this information? How are you going to be constructive about the fact that you now know that people make things happen, right? There are actually people that contribute to inequity, that contributed to this lynching of an innocent woman on American soil. That takes on a whole nother, crime, things happen, we've seen, unarmed people, right, because the reality of it is African, we need a diagnosis, right? We are out of our African minds. So the crime and the things that are happening and the survival tactics that are happening in our community, and the fact that our emotional and spiritual frequency have morphed into something that we don't even understand or recognize, is a symptom of being a part of this white-centered consciousness. We are in a perpetual madness inside as an African in an unnatural environment, which would also be considered crimes against humanity and cruel and unusual punishment. See, but if you can think in light, you would have already come up with that. So I'm going to share that with you. These spaces and places that's already created, and for those of us that are not living in those spaces, this is a we conversation. If any of us are hurting, all of us are hurting.
Period.
So you can't be living so good and flying in the yacht, riding the yachts and living good and looking good to the point where you forget that there are children who are without parents, that there are young people who are out here robbing people on the way to work,
and that's
that are doing things to hurt people out of fear themselves and out of scarcity themselves.
And even in that alone is conditioning to not even address the root causes of anything. We're very much on the front facing space of this is what it is. Oh, they robbing. Oh, they ain't shit. Oh, they just
these badass kids.
Whatever case. No. Did you look at the root cause of response of what poverty has done, what discrimination has done? Maybe the parents couldn't get work. Maybe the parents had to deal with resorting to drugs, either selling them or taking them to relieve the pain
we are out of our African minds as a result of the Matrix.
Out of our minds, and then the kids have to deal with it. Kids have to grow up fast, and kids have to figure some things out because the parents are gone. You don't know what the situation is, but there's varying webs of the residual of what can take place to have our kids be in the streets to do these crimes, or have our adults be in the streets to do these crimes, or feel like they got to sell drugs, or feel like they got to do these things to survive. What is the end goal? To survive. It's not even to create a nation. It's not even to create liberation. No. I just need to live to see the next day. This is where a lot of people are at.
Gotta take care of my kids.
If I can climb out the dirt, I'll be all right. But right now, I'm up to
and then we want to get self-worth.
Buried alive.
We want to get worth. We want to build some type of value in ourselves, worthiness in ourselves. We're trying to find respect. When 90% of what we do is compete with other Africans. To the point of detriment. We compete with other Africans because you know what? You're not going to outdo the Matrix. The Matrix was created by some people. You're not going to outdo the Matrix. Nope. We said to you last week, there is no fix for the Matrix. The Matrix does not work for the African, period. I don't care how you shift it, shape it, morph it. It does not work for the African. It is fundamentally, diametrically opposed to the wellness and the greatest good of African people, period. So people who are having a white cultural experience, can I have that conversation with me and see in clarity that these things are offensive to humanity? Then what is there for us to talk about?
And this is what leads up to things
because that's actually what it ends up being. It's nothing else. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm saying this is what leads to you to have things like the Breonna Taylor statue that was destroyed. This woman, for one, at day's end, she did nothing. Nearly died in her sleep. Did nothing. Nothing wrong to anybody to deserve what she got. Statue made in honor. Many forms of performative symbolism that have taken place, other than everything except her justice has taken place. But whatever.
For killing an innocent woman.
Her statue is placed up. Where was this? What?
It was in LA. It was in
statue put up in her honor of her bust. You don't destroy a Columbus statue. You don't destroy
it was in Oakland.
Statue.
It was Lee Carson. Someone named Leo Carson built the bust of Breonna Taylor in Oakland, California.
Beautiful, depiction,
and it was torn up.
And torn up. Why? What is the psychosis in the mindset that has that? Destroying the statue.
An innocent person, a person who
let it be. Literally just let it be.
There you go.
It's not touching you. It's not speaking to you unless you got some stuff going on in your head. It's a statue of anything else. Why?
And she should have been able to live her life unabridged. She did nothing. She didn't offend the law. She was an EMT.
She was actually supportive of helping
she did
people.
Good. She did good according to the Matrix. She followed the protocol. The protocol, family. She followed the protocol of what you're supposed to do in the Matrix as being compliant with the Matrix. She was compliant.
Job, go to school, get the good
I'm sure she wasn't out here revolutioning and all of that stuff. She wasn't.
No, she was enjoying her life as it was given to her.
She was a young person. She followed the protocol.
It is what it is. Yes.
And she, she had a boyfriend who was doing some things that he had no business doing. Yet again, another psychosis of an African out of his mind. Because this is why they said that they were there in the first place. Because they said that drugs were being delivered to her house. Apparently, they say that she had a boyfriend, which is a part of all these muck and mire of all these coordinated departments trying to now cover their asses as they killed this woman.
Yeah, but it was still wrong. Okay. It was also completely wrong. Boyfriend wasn't there.
But at this point,
wrong address,
administrative
wrong boyfriend.
We're talking about
everything.
We're talking about administrative at this point. See, because African, we understand things from one perspective because we look at it, it was just wrong. But guess what? The Matrix has a whole lot of papers with a lot of black writing on them. And since you didn't see those papers are called legislation and legality and compliance.
A lot of it.
Only thing that they have to do, an officer do, which is why they always walk on these cases where they kill innocent African people, is all they have to say is that person was non-compliant and I fear for my life. Because the moment you don't adhere to the order given to you by a sworn public safety officer, And any inclination, the fact that you didn't follow a direct order means that this officer now is in fear that you may do something contrary to hurt me. And I'm in fear of my life. Whether they were or not is irrelevant. But that is the textbook response. And when that happens, the judge says there was no violation here. Protocol was followed. We're throwing it out. And they walk every time.
Get creative license.
They walk every time.
And then you got folks like, Daniel Cameron, who's like our folks who completely subscribe to what the Matrix has to offer, to even put our people down is to keep and hold on to the rewards of the Matrix, to where you don't even present the actual piece of the case to the grand jury. The actual important case. You present the case of where the neighboring white folks get their walls shot up. That wasn't the problem.
But it is a part of the Matrix consciousness that whenever there's a real big dagger that they stick in your heart, they use a black face to do it.
Yeah.
To drill down the concept and lack of trust, to help fuel the lack of trust that we have within our community for each other.
That is like, we cannot expect us. Look, you guys do it too.
It's your guy. It's your guy. Look at your guy. Your guy didn't support you.
Same thing with black on black crime, and that in itself is also another version of black on black crime.
Black on black crime is by the system. It's African madness.
It is.
It's an African madness syndrome. We're out of our African.
It's not a black person like literally killing or hurting other black people because of the sake of black people. It's what's been designed into the system to have them give those residuals in response to this.
If we had our way in our system, there would be a facility for those black folks, for those African people.
Get them right.
We'll try to see if we can get them right first. We're going to try to work on them. We're going to try to work on them. We're going to try to get them right. We're going to try our best to set them up in supervised care and provide them with the healing and protocol that they need. They need to feel safe. We need to try to work out some of those scavenger behaviors that they've developed. And then there's also a huge space and gap where some folks are irreparable, which the Matrix is responsible for genocide on the people.
But you owe it to your people.
So some of us, we owe it to our people to try to work on them.
Work first.
Try to work on them because we can heal our people.
Kwame Ture even said, like, everybody is our people. All of our people are our people.
Even the broken ones, the hurt ones, the sad ones, the broken ones, whatever dysfunction that they in, whatever madness that the Matrix gave them, they are people too.
And the hardcore response is like, it's not even just working, well, let them go. No, it's try. And if they don't do it, off them.
We got to work on them.
Shouts out brother Kwame. You got to off them. Let them go.
I mean,
But that's another conversation in itself.
It's going to take this madness that we have as Africans didn't happen yesterday. We've been colonized for over 1,300 years by a variety of different spaces and places, 1,300, 1,500 years. It's going to take some time for us to work these things out, but we can come to a fundamental strategy for healing and for clearing the space and for making a clear space and a resolute determination to be unwavering. We can do that. That's something that we have access to in this very second, right this moment, that we can do and we can stick to. We could have used the bus boycott as a schematic to create exactly what's happening in the Matrix right now. We could have helped that but you know what we would have done? We would have fed each other. We would have housed each other. We would have helped. We would have provided for each other, and we would have not participated in the Matrix.
We know what to do.
And we could have broke this Matrix down and put ourselves in the driver's seat. We could have done that. We could have created our own line to our motherland, and we could use our resources. We didn't have to buy nothing from nobody. And if we can't provide it for ourselves, we don't use it. Period. End of discussion. Africa makes cars. We don't have to buy cars from these folks. These folks, people make things happen. People don't make things happen. Who do you think funded the prisons? The pipeline from school to prison. Who do you think funded them? What do you think there was an article some time ago about Teachers Fund with a mutual fund that actually invests in the school to prison pipeline. They invest in corporations of corrections, et cetera, CCC, federally traded corporation conglomerate, because that's how they mask these things. And then you got to follow the breadcrumbs, right, family? So this is what we get to do. This is what we get to come clear about. And we really get to start to mold and we get to understand the concept of the spook that sat beside the door. Because while we're in this maintenance conversation, we got to be resolute about what's next for us. Because everybody else out here is using nepotism. Everybody else out here is doing for their people. Where we are right now could not have happened if humanity was actually applicable. People only talking about it to rock you to sleep, and they telling you to pray.
Right.
They telling you to turn the other cheek.
It's not intangible.
They tell you to turn the other cheek.
Humanity's a buzzword.
Judge them by their fruit. What have they produced? None of that stuff has come to life for the African. The African is still out here grappling on his knees, feeling around in the dark for a light switch, period.
I'm not interested in African.
That's it, African.
Buzzword African.
So let us come together, Ujima.
Ujima, collective working responsibility.
Ujima.
That is today.
Today.
We still have the rest of our Nguzo Saba to uphold and uplift and light the Kanara. Is tomorrow's Ujama, cooperative economics. Right. We have Nia is the next day which is just Wednesday, right? It's Wednesday, which is a purpose, standing in our purpose. And then Thursday we have Kuumba, which is creativity. Right? How we were doing everything we can with what we got to create and leave the earth better than we found it.
Better than we found it, family. Create it.
Nia stepping in our purpose, using our vocation to help support and build our community. Right. And then lastly, we got Friday is Imani.
Give thanks for faith.
Have faith. Build faith. Have faith in your people. Have faith in your heart. Have faith in yourself, your people, your nation, your community, your nation, the race.
Come on, family.
And in the struggle.
Because we're capable. But it might take some time for you to give birth to that consciousness and have it take root, but we are capable. We don't actually have to look to the matrix for solutions for our problems. We are capable with devising and executing our own supports.
Absolutely. Brother Joseph said, I'll bring up on the screen. I like the way that comes up. That's a new thing. It's interesting. Y'all said Africa makes cars because several of our people were behind creating a car which gets 65 plus mpg. Miles per gallon. But notice that how that car hasn't seen the light of day.
And let me tell you, the brother, there was a kid who created a relay that he can plug in. Oh, I'm sorry.
More proof we have to operate as far outside the matrix possible. I just want to finish the thought.
Yeah. Okay, sorry about that.
But because that's right, exactly.
And then there was a young kid who had made a relay that you plug into your socket because he did the math. This kid is 14 years old, but he did the math. He's the child of a single mom, and he realized that his family was always having trouble paying electric bill. So as he was growing up, he's actually a student at MIT. Excuse me, and he comes up with a relay that you can plug in, and he had gotten corporations hawking him, trying to buy his invention from him for $1 million, his prototype.
Of course.
Well, you know why they wanted to buy it? Because he knew that they weren't going to produce it. Because these agencies, they're gonna buy it to hide it. But you know something, African? You take these folks' word on face value. Why would they not want to produce something that's going to help the people and also help the planet? So a lot of these things that they put in the planet are actually destructive, and they know they're destructive, but they refuse to bring them forward because it's going to impact profits. So they're willing to sacrifice your life, your quality of life. They're willing to damage the planet and the earth. They're willing to take resources that should be distributed because the resources that they're stealing are community property. Their stuff are for everyone. There is no border when it comes to all these things that the planet gives us for our fortification. See, we've subscribed to the matrix. Have you accepted the mark of the beast? We've accepted these borders and these boundaries against distribution of community property. And we've allowed certain people who got armies and bullies who can bully us into submission. Because we're not on the job, family. We're not on the job. We slipping. Yeah. So we get to look at that. So he ended up bringing this invention into fruition. He ended up creating this, mass producing this invention, and it is saving people half on their electric bill. Come to find out that the electric box was charging people for wattage that it wasn't using when the box wasn't even in use. When I have something plugged in or there's nothing plugged in, there's a current that's still running even if the socket itself is idling.
That's the vampire voltage too.
That's what he was talking about, the vampire voltage.
Yeah.
So his box regulates the vampire voltage. It cut folks' electric bills in half. Half. Your bill has been $250. Now it's $125. You know what $125 can do for a family whose average income is $31,000?
Because imagine you have all your appliances plugged in. People tend to leave the chargers plugged in.
Yeah.
The appliances plugged in. But like, but that's that vampire vultures that adds up. So imagine being able to, not imagine, it's been done, right? To create a mechanism that cuts that off, right? And actually adequately cuts off that current and saves you money and actually saves your energy, right? And this is the mind of our children. And this is what we need to cultivate and nurture in order to step into a greater future, because they do have it. It needs to be nurtured. So if you're not nurturing, if you're letting the kid idle, then their stuff gets cut off by virtue of just not being nurtured into that. Well, that must not be interesting. So let me just do what the school teacher told me to do and do math in this weird way for 10 minutes. Like what are we nurturing at home and in our community around the youth being, greater and stepping into their greatness. So it's up to us, family. Let's do that. That's the keeping our brothers and sisters close.
Let's do it, and let's validate our family.
Yes.
Let's stop waiting for them to look like the Matrix before we clap for them.
Exactly.
Because remember, the market is asking for us to produce more of the same. It's rewarding more of the same. If we continue to create garbage and trash and feed it to our communities, giving our brothers rocks that they would stumble, brothers and sisters, and it's a whole lot of people. I don't care how nice their suit is. They're peddling garbage to the family, and our family are falling into the holes, right? And the Matrix is clapping for them and applauding them and giving them rise and lifting them up, but they're really peddling garbage to the community. Stuff that's not going to fortify, give our community true self-worth, right? And validation, and bless them in terms of their gifts and natural talents. And the divine gave them the breath of life, so you are already born worthy.
Right.
So the Matrix cannot validate that.
Right.
But go ahead.
No, finish your point.
No. So those are the things that we get to connect with on what we are doing as a community of people with our people. When we take on our brothers and sisters' problems, make them our own, and make that reciprocity. Because if every African is worried about not what can you do for me, but what can I do for somebody else, then nobody goes uncovered. Everybody's covered.
Absolutely.
We won't have this scarcity in our community with others without, right? And then you know what? That's us. That's how it works. We know how to fix each other, family.
I was going to say on the point, because our brother, shouts out to the good brother Tony Baker, who's becoming a comedy legend in his own right, his social media landscape. But he always speaks about it a lot, and I love that he has this honest conversation with speaking to people about it. He's like, when we talk about validating ourselves and letting the Matrix validate us, he's like, I got my comedy specials up on my site. You can go view it right now on my site. My comedy specials that I put out by myself. But it's always, but when man, when's Netflix gonna give you a show?
Yeah,
Netflix need to give you a show. Like, well, Netflix ain't hiring me yet, but you can go view my shows, right? My shows right now on my website. Man, Netflix really need to give you a show. But this is how we operate. This is the mindset and psychosis we need to break free of, right, family? Because we have our people, we have our brilliance, we have our skills, we have it now, we have it right in front of us.
That's right.
Let's give each other the flowers that we deserve right in the now.
While we are living.
Support while we're living, and give the support necessary to our community to grow. Because we have it. We have it. It's all in us. We figured it out. We know the ins and outs. So let's honor that in our people, family. So you already know what it is, family. This Soundbytes.
Yeah.
Oh, well, brother Joseph said something. Says that's all I care about is profit on all levels. The fact that we're only going to pay him $1 million is proof they never pay us our worth. That's why I always get mad when our people take the money and run and sell to people who have no interest whatsoever in what we have. Oh yeah, that's always like it's
well, because there's a scarcity on the ground, family.
Yeah, that's the scarcity.
Remember the funnel that leads to the light of the Matrix is the bottleneck is a small bottleneck. So everybody's not going to fit through there. And they create these metrics on purpose so that the balance doesn't shift in any way of impact. Okay. Even when we do get onto the other side, very few of us come back on this side and make an authentic impact. Authentic African-centered impact is rare once you get into the Matrix, because the Matrix is going to manipulate how you demonstrate your ability. It has to refine itself. Remember, you want to check out the United Compensatory Code System by Neely Fuller. The Matrix only refines itself. That's all it does. So you are a pawn in the Matrix, even if you do get through the bottleneck. You got through the bottleneck, you made it through, and now you can stunt on other Africans and fly yourself up in front of other Africans. You'll never measure up. to the other folks in the space because they created the matrix. So if they give you leverage, you definitely never grew up over them. Right. So this is why the greatest strength that we have is a unity to fold into one another and utilize our collective, our critical mass to move the space in a way that impacts us all, not just you. Oh, well, you know, there's a whole lot of lies. Remember when I used to smoke, family, I told y'all, when I used to smoke, I used to tell myself a lot of lies to make it all right for me to smoke. I used to tell myself all kind of lies when I was a smoker so I could continue to smoke. So we hear the narratives that we like to hear, and those are the ones we subscribe to because it allows us the gray area to do the bull crap that we do.
Right. And then
it makes room for our vices and our shortcomings and our weakness and our lack of determination and strength and our short-sightedness. It makes room for us, and no one's accountable here. And we can check out of responsibility for our brother. I'm not my brother's keeper. I got to do me. I got to get me mine because it's hard work to work on our family, especially when they're not compliant. And trust me, our family, because of the degree of the way this matrix work, they're not really compliant.
And that brother you stun on now can end up being your lead, your superior later in a working situation. You never know what you're dealing with in this space. So like, just let's be with our people. You know, our brother Joseph.
Let's love on our family.
Absolutely. Let's love on our family. Our brother Joseph said, we don't need these platforms to be successful. You know, if enough of us support one another without needing these platforms for verification, then we all we need. We are enough. We all we got. We all we got,
we all we got, bro.
We are enough. You know what it is. So, and we appreciate y'all, you know. So this is Soundbytes. So you know, before we wrap up, we do a little, you know, the reminder housekeeping and whatnot.
Yes.
But again, you know, this is our last broadcast of 2020. And really, in looking into 2021, going forward to 2021, we're going to look into some new actions and new tangible outcomes that we get to create. Not just us, but we invite y'all to do so as well. And what's that?
Yeah, so I'm gonna talk about that a little bit. The Soul Project. Make sure you speak it to the soul.
Oh yeah.
We'll put that in there. We'll drop that in there.
Okay.
We the Feel Me is out there still. www.keysandSword.com/Feel Me EP is still out there. The Feel Me EP is a 23-minute journey through a meditational sound healing.
Yes.
So get into that. Also get into speaking into the soul. It's also available on Apple Music, Spotify, and YouTube,
and Amazon as well.
And Amazon, y'all get into it, family.
You know,
producing things, and you can let the family listen. That's 3 minutes. That's 3 minutes sound healing. It also comes with visual. If you look at it on YouTube, the visual video as well as the audible downloadable track from various outlets. All we can create to fortify the community, all we can create to help to give that we're alternative culture. Alternative culture, African alternative culture, so that we can create what we need because we know how to heal each other.
Absolutely.
We're not waiting for no one else to tell us, and we're not waiting for permission out here in these streets because we ain't asked to be here.
I don't even know permission. I don't have nobody's permission to create. I'm a creator, and I create every instance, every second. Anytime I get inspired, I'm creating something, and it's always with the people in mind, especially with my people in mind, of how we can build a better humanity. If I have the tools in my hand, and I'm gonna do it, and that's what I do.
We can do it.
To my music, to my creative processes, all that. Working with Nephara and with this platform here, we do what we can in this life, right?
That's
we use this in our hand to bring the resources, right, family? So let's get in tune with that. And just keep it in mind, as I said, we're going into 2021. We appreciate everybody, that's been following what we've been doing like this past year. As we stepped into our recent season. And we're gonna take some time for going into 2021. We're gonna take a little break, in the month of January, maybe a little bit of February, but we expect us to be back around that time. So we're just gonna be charged, regroup, and just kind of get into a different space, build up some new energy going into 2021. So this will be our last broadcast for a little bit, right? But we'll be back around February to bring y'all what we need. In the meantime, we'll be sharing our past broadcasts and just we'll continue to be sharing on our page for sure. So please follow our pages. Let me throw those up so you can be mindful of that.
Be out here in these streets being mindful. Go on and be mindful.
Remember, of course, again, I'll follow our website. This is soundbytes.com. Stay connected. You can follow the conversation on there by you can go to our Apple Podcast and Spotify to follow
please.
our audio version of our shows on Soundbytes International Radio on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. There's links to click there. You can also support through our merch. And you can also, provide any, size, value, energy yield. If you find value in what we do, there's an opportunity to contribute on our website as well. But also remember, you can follow us on Facebook. If you're looking at us already on Facebook, wonderful. Just make sure that you've liked and followed us on Facebook as well. Soundbytes INTL Radio.
Thanks.
Be sure to subscribe on our YouTube, Soundbytes International Radio. We need to get our subscribers up. We're trying to push more on YouTube, get more media. We got a lot more stuff planned for 2021. Not more media, not more ways to bring you media and content on our YouTube channel. So please hit subscribe. Please send your people subscribe. Please like and comment on the YouTube as well. We do appreciate all that support. We're also live on Twitter at Soundbytes INTL. Make sure you follow the twits. And of course, you can follow us on Instagram at Soundbytes International Radio, where we have these conversations regularly in Soundbytes in Instagram format.
And we're also open to doing some travel work and doing some workshops.
We're looking to do some travel work. We want us to speak somewhere. Again, if you find value in what we're bringing to the table, please, we're very open to speaking at places or supporting. In this case, in COVID times, if you want to speak virtually, well, that's fine. But things open up. We would love to come to your town, to your school, to your place of healing space, wherever it is
going now, where it's happening at space.
Yeah. We also love to. We're looking to hopefully travel and talk to the people more with the Soundbytes platform.
Get some more people. We was on our way to Texas before all of this occurred. To host down there. So family, this COVID thing is throwing a little monkey wrench, but we're going to be creative out here and create what's next for us and the space of being with the family. Absolutely. And the point is to get the word out and to have authentic word, because there's a lot of people speaking. And like I said, there's a lot of people talking. A lot of people talking. We want to be able to be efficient at reading the code.
Yes.
I'm about efficiency because we've done enough time wasting time. We're out of wasting time, and right now it's action time. Right now it's being proactive at action time. I'm over the delays. So we can actually, if I can be a utility, as there can be a utility, we can be utilities and functional aspects and conduits to bring forward the perspective that allows you to be in action. Sister said, oh my God, I just love you because you make it real simple. Yes, I do.
It doesn't need to be hard.
It doesn't have to be hard.
Make it hard.
It doesn't have to be hard.
Life is not hard, family. People make it hard.
No. People make it hard, family. People make it hard. We can make it real simple. And not simply just simple, but simple because if you can read the matrix, which takes time to be able to read the code, I'm not talking about with conspiracy and all these other things and all the convoluted foolishness. I'm talking about with absolute clarity and 2020 vision. So family, let's get into this. Humanity has definitely been harmed this year. African, we've taken some real big hits as a community.
Yes.
And healing is definitely what we need right now. We need a healing. We need a reset. We got a few more days to the end of this year. We're winding down to the end of this social year. I'm an African. I believe you should live every single day because every day was given to you.
Absolutely.
I gave up being a Monday through Friday person 10 years ago. We live 7 days a week. And we need to do something to dedicate to yourself, to your family, to your community every single day. And being a better you is in service to your community.
Oh, sure.
Be a better you. That is a service to your community. Okay? And I'm not talking about how you look. I'm not talking about what you wear, how you walk, and how you talk.
How you be.
Improve on your African frequency.
How you be being.
Improve on your conscious mind and unconscious mind. Improve on what you say and how you be with your people every day. Improve on yourselves, family, because we all we got out here in these streets. You better know that. We ain't nobody else for the African but the African. So let's be with it, family.
We appreciate you too, Sister Michelle. We love you too.
Thanks. Love you. We love everyone who came in today.
Thank you for joining in.
Brother Dave came in.
Blessings Nadira, thank you for joining in. Arlene, thank you for joining in.
Brother Joseph shared the video. Brother Lisa shared the video.
Brother Amin, brother Sister Lisa.
Brother Baba Jewel.
We thank y'all for coming in.
Sister Sarka, Sister Munera, Brother Vincent. Give thanks, Sister Jacqueline.
Yes.
Brother Kyle, Sister Arlene,
Sister Dot Singh.
Sister Dot Singh. Appreciate you, Brother Cherno. Brother Calvin, give thanks, Brother Dave, for coming in and being with us tonight at the African meeting, African build session, and fortification meeting out here in these streets, family. So we appreciate you for coming in, for sharing the video, and for making your contribution, your energy yields also, and for donating. Listen, guys, we have Cash App, Soundbytes, SOUNDBYTES. Radio radio.com. So family, if you choose, if you find value in the community, in our community meeting here, we do take
this helps growth.
It helps growth. It helps to maintain our sites, our apps,
it helps growth,
our sites, apps, and websites, and all these things. It helps
keep the media going.
It keeps the media going, family.
Want us to keep going, then we
it's what. Listen, we're trying to build up this. We want to build up this critical mass, so we don't need these things.
That's Ujima.
We can just do our own thing, family.
Let's get our Ujima and Ujama on.
Let's do it, family. Peace and blessings, man. We just love you guys.
So you know how we do.
You know what's next.
Last time for 2020.
Come on, y'all. Let's go strong. Stay with us.
Getting your high note.
And let's get into this. Come on, y'all better be with us.
So shout out once again our brother Joseph, brother AJ throwback. Also our brother Naeem Bricks with this joint. One of our favorite joints. We just love to rock and love to close out the show because it's a high energy track, and it's also a high energy message, right? To stand in your I am.
Get into that message.
I am, right? Of course, myself, I'm on the track as well. I'm doing things, making words come out in a rhythmic fashion.
AJ throwback.
Yes. I done that. Yeah, but yes, so family, so vibe out with us. You know how we do.
Come on, let's do it, family. One more time.
Happy, blessed New Year to everyone. I mean, you step into 2021 empowered and fortified.
Give thanks.
And with your own, giving yourself permission
to
be and to move and to step into your best self, into your greatest self, family. So we'll see you in February. And one love, family. So rock out with us one last time for 2020. Let's get it.
Come on, rock in. Get some of this energy here, right here, family. Peace and blessings.
Which makes people ask who sent you. I tell them I am. They tell me that's a cute affirmation, but it's not an answer. I reply, listen again. My affirmation is your answer. Look the power of I am. This is the greatness of I am.
Peace, brother Vincent. Thank you. Check the replay. Come back on it. Right now, vibe out.
Love me more, never love less.
Oh, just bless.
You be the blessing. I manifest it. This is the power of I am. Power of I am. So
I pushed it fast, to the cows call home, bro. It didn't make sense. I was told as a child I wouldn't be shit. Revenge on my mind, started flipping the script. They fed me lies, started picking that shit. They treated me different, I embraced that shit. You know the
treat you different, embrace it.
Your family size, sacred bonds, dirty. But better believe me 1,000%. Come on, get some of that, family. That's you. Some monotonous. Come on. I couldn't rock with this. Getting rich. Come on. Gold face. I'm regurgitating, percolating, singing that same song. I'm blessed all day long. Some people might say I'm what?
Well, they're absolutely right.
I am what? As my strength and purified of the nonsense they tried to contest to my context.
I am resilient.
I am
more than a survivor.
I am.
It's the power of I am. This is the greatness of I am. Look at the strength that I have. None of the truth can deny that. Yeah, the proof in the high hat. Internal reflection, I digress.
I love me more, never love less.
I love me more, never love less.
$1 million dreams, yeah, I manifest it. You be the blessing. I manifest it. Anything I want, yeah, turn up. This is the power of I am.
This is the greatness of I am. Look at the strength that I have. None of the truth can deny the
power of I am. You know who it is? Pappy. Woo! No place I'm wasting my time. Paradise. Hit it. Yeah. Champion.
In a matter of time,
Became a champion.
Come here with him on
To do the damn thing. Pack up the arenas. Few the leaders. Huh?
do what they can't conceive of.
God, I'm
Feeling good,
mother. What they say, I'm doing what they never would. Hey,
Get free, bro, food.
come on now, come with it. From the north to the southeast. Everything you want, yeah, turn up.
What you say?
Say it.
Do as my ancestors instruct. I have all I need to affect change.
And I am a living magnification of God.
This is the power of I am. This is the greatness of I am. Look at the strap that I have. None of the truth could deny that.
Yeah, the from the high hat. Come on, family, get some of that. Do your dance.
More, never love less.
I love me more, never love that. Get some, family. $1 million dreams, yeah, I'll manifest it. Look deep inside, yeah, you be the blessing. Everything in world, yeah, tell them this is the power of I am. Own this. Power of I am. Woo, family, that's hot.
And nothing deny the power of your I am,
That
family. One love.
song is just so
Soundbytes
hot.
International Radio.
Peace out to that brother. I am real pretty.
Black conscious acclaim. One
Oh,
love
what is the aim?
y'all. One love. 2021, let's get it, y'all. No more playing on.
4 to 5, family.
We're
Proactive.
there every day.